Finally, another press conference. Hello, Bayern Munich starts into the cup season as well. In the third division team, Preußen Münster tomorrow. Welcome to Thomas Tuchel and welcome to you. Let's start with the questions.
Ja, Herr Tuchel, Vestenbergskreuth,
Weinheim, Magdeburg. What do these big games tell you, and how big is the danger that Münster might be on that list as well? Well, we try to avoid it. I remember Vestenbergskreuth. I watched it on television. It's quite a while ago. I didn't really know about the other games, but why do you start the press conference like this and point at those losses? Because Münster might be a team to underestimate. No, we're not going to do this. We prepare for the game just like we do with any other game. We don't rate games differently. As soon as we've done a jersey, we play, and just the way Bayern Munich wants to play and just the way we are supposed to. And it's clear that we are the favorites. We don't have anything to win as such for the public. You cannot win anything against a game like this, and your opponent can't really lose. But still, we want to win this game, obviously. We want to go to Berlin, to the final. And we have to take it step by step, and it starts tomorrow. Did the players all cope well with the Wiesn yesterday? And what are your thoughts about your players, even though you're not going to underestimate your opponent? Well, I'm not going to leave anybody at home because I don't really like to give even the slightest sign that we can leave somebody at home for the game, because it might not be that important, or might be important but not that difficult. I don't think that would be the right sign to put up. So we are just starting into the midweek games series, and I haven't really made up my mind about the starting 11. The team will come this afternoon only, so we have more time to regenerate. I assume nobody stayed too long on the Oktoberfest and nobody really overdid it. So I expect everybody to be ready. Rafael Guerrero should be back and should be in the squad. And other than that, we'll have to see. We're going to rate it individually. De Ligt will not be available. We'll have to see how Upa is coping. He had a couple of nicks after the national team games. Same with Min-jae. It could be that we're not rotating too much in order just to give the opposing sign that we are looking at ourselves and not at our opponent, and we're not going to underestimate him. Will Daniel Perez get a chance from the start against Münster and Choupo-Moting? He scored and he had a couple of good situations. Can you talk about what he means to the club? Choupo is a top football player. He's very calm on the ball, really good technique, really good first touch with the back towards goal. We played with two strikers, and so we thought that it was the right position for him to get to long balls and get to the balls from the second row, if you will. He's really good on the ball. He can turn, and he was playing really well against Manchester United as well when he came off the bench. That is one of his strengths. And I think it's the third club that I have him as my player, and he's a really important player. And the locker room as well. He's a good guy. He's very clear and very reliable character, and he really gets along with everybody well. And I'm really happy that he proves his worth again next to Harry in that position. He really deserved it. He really did a good job, and let's see. He obviously deserves to keep on playing, but like I said, I'm not quite clear how we're going to play, because we're analyzing it at this time, and then we'll decide from game to game, because when we have the choice to make changes up front. And about Daniel, if everything continues like this and he'll not get injured, he will get the cup game. You just said you want to go to Berlin. Can you talk us through your memories? What does the German Football Federation Cup mean to you? Every cup competition is something special, knockout games, and it's a lot more tension, and the constellation is unique. With a knockout game, they give you a bit of pressure, and they are really special. And there are numerous examples in football in general that games like this can spring surprises with an underdog who can really grow in those 90 minutes and have a chance. It has a completely different character than a Bundesliga game. You really have to prove yourself in those 90 or 120 minutes or the penalty shootout. You have to find a way to win, and that is what we expect from ourselves, and that's what the cup games are for, to prove it. Harry Kane, 3 assists already for Leroy Sané. Might he be the reason why Leroy is really blossoming at this time? Do they really work together well? Well, they absolutely do. And I think it helps that Leroy is fluent in English. It's just like it's second mother language. And in this constellation, it makes it pretty easy. And I said from the start that Harry, as a personality and as a player, as a character, can make players better around him because of his presence, because of the way he plays. And I think that a couple of things go together. Leroy is really playing well, good body language, and his mindset is absolutely clear at this time. And Harry does what Harry does. And it's a good combination, but it's not only about those two, but it's the obvious. A bit tongue-in-cheek, you just said, hopefully the players didn't overdo at the Wiesn. Can I assume that you left early, and what was your first impression? Well, I haven't seen the players since. I left at 5. I don't think everybody left, but I guess at 5:30 everybody was at home. No, I just cannot assume any different. We are still professionals, and we know that the visit to the Wiesn is a tradition for the club and a tradition in Munich, and that's why we respect it. And we knew that we were there at midday, and we still knew that it's 2 days before a game, and so obviously we're gonna behave like that, and nobody's gonna overdo it. Can you tell us something about Münster? They just came into the 3rd division, and how important is it for you to give Daniel Perez a chance? It hasn't always been the case at Munich, and what are his strengths? Well, I think it is important. From abroad, I just knew it, that your second choice goalkeeper, if he deserves it, and the way he behaves and the way he plays, that he gets a chance at the cup games, because it's important for him, and it's important if there's any emergency, anything happens. So I think there are only advantages, and Daniel is absolutely top. The complete goalkeeping team with the coaches is a very homogeneous unit who are pushing themselves, and Sven really does a good job, and Daniel, he has really lots of potential, and he's someone we acquired for the future, and so he deserved it, and he really has to get prepared mentally as well, so he will know it from today. We were talking it through with the goalkeeping coach, and he can prove himself, and that's what we want. And what was the first question? About Münster, yes, we are analyzing them at this time. I don't really rate the results till now, too highly, because the constellation against us will be something completely different. As you know, and as Münster knows, they play without any pressure, and we are looking at the way they play and the style they play. We want to be dominant, we want to have possession of the ball, we want to avoid counterattacks, and we will want to show our individual quality in order to score goals, and that's what we can do, and scoring goals, be quick on the pitch, but we expect an opponent who is fighting with the crowd in the stadium, and who are fighting for the sensation, for the upset. We would not be surprised if they put more emphasis on dead ball situations and try to create a certain atmosphere in order to really grow. But like I said, we have to find ways to win this game, and that is our task, and we're going to do it. Jamal Musiala didn't play at the weekend. Was it about the managing of the workload? How is he doing after his injury, and what are your plans with him? Are you rating him as a special player with his age, that you say, well, he has to score 10 goals or 15 goals or 15 assists? So what are your expectations? Well, we're talking about the expectations, but it's important that he stays fit and healthy. And after his long muscular injury, we were bringing him off the bench against Leverkusen and letting him start against Manchester United. He had a slight reaction, not with his injured muscle, but it was a bit of a tight muscle somewhere, and we didn't want to take any risks. He could have played about half an hour, but once the result in the game was as it was, we didn't want to take any risk at all, so we wanted to give him a bit more time. And so he just has to stay stable in order to be available throughout, because that is very important. You have to stay fit, you have to play a lot. So Jamal definitely is someone who can play from the left and be a difference maker for us. He knows my expectations, he has high expectations for himself, and we're not going to leave him out. It's not a question of his age. As far as his scoring is concerned and his assists and everything, he's very keen to do it, and that's very important, but we haven't made up any figures yet. So thank you very much. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.